Welcome back, Team Avatar. Netflix just dropped a Season 2 trailer featuring Toph. She was their big announcement this week. They've cast an actress, started filming episodes, so we'll break it all down. We have a pretty good idea of what's going on. If you're brand new to the channel, be sure to subscribe to get all the videos. I will be doing episode videos like I did for Season 1. In the trailer, they play classic Avatar: The Last Airbender animated theme music from the episodes. This is the same track that would play at the end of each episode and during episodes different times. It's not specifically meant to be Toph's theme music. Notice you see her in her classic Earth Kingdom outfit, Earthbending, and they only show her feet because, of course, they do that for Toph. Like, that's the way you introduce that character. Next to her being blind, and that is the way the animated series introduced her, like Aang saw a vision of her in the swamp, but it was like her entire body, so you saw her face. Next to the fact that she's blind and then focusing on that, her feet are probably the most important part of her body. They're so integral to the way that she bends. This is probably the only time Netflix doesn't mind everybody getting super weird asking them for more feet pics. Like, we're not degenerates, we just want to see more Toph feet pics. Please send us all the feet pics. The actress playing her is Mia Chek. You might remember her from Arrow. She played the young version of Emiko, Oliver's half-sister from his father. She's done some other Netflix stuff that you might recognize her from. That's probably her path to this. A lot of the actors on the show are people that have done Netflix stuff before. She's not blind in real life, but if Charlie Cox can portray such a great version of Daredevil, very important blind character in the Marvel Universe, then she can probably do a decent job of portraying Toph's blindness during Avatar: The Last Airbender. Charlie Cox is probably the most famous example of something like that. Like, he is not blind in real life, but he does an amazing job of portraying Daredevil's blindness. Also, consequently started as a Netflix series. We'll get some more shots of her bending in the next big trailer. They don't list an actual release date, like not 2025 or 2026, probably because Netflix is not sure. Like, we don't know if it'll make it out by the end of 2025, so just prepare yourself for it not to come out to like the beginning of 2026. Like, do not be disappointed, because there's like a 99% chance that that's going to happen. Remember, they did all of Book 1 during Season 1 in a big speed run. They'll probably do the same thing speed running all of Book 2 during Season 2. And they've already confirmed that they've renewed the show for Season 3, so they're doing all of Book 3. And because they have all their main characters now, like Toph was like the last Infinity Stone to assemble the Infinity Gauntlet that is Team Avatar. Now that you have all those characters and all their important villains for Book 3, they can actually start filming Book 3 way faster. So hopefully the wait time between Season 2 and Season 3 will be way shorter. There's also the long-running joke that the child actors, Stranger Things style, like you're talking about Stranger Things here, age so quickly that if you wait too long, you get like teenage Aang by the end of the series, when he's supposed to be like 11 years old. The original animated series took place over the course of about a single year, like a little bit less than a year. Aang was biologically 12 years old when he came out of the ice in episode 1. Then he was about to turn 13 during the finale. Like, his actual birthday was about 4 months after the end of Book 3, so literally less than a year goes by. During the live-action series, the showrunner said they changed the plot with Sozin's Comet significantly because of this time issue that they ran into, because they knew it would take them a few years to get the whole series out, so they couldn't use the arrival of Sozin's Comet as a ticking clock the same way the original series did, mentioning it all the time. So that's why in the live-action episodes, you barely hear them talking about the comet, like just in episode 1, that prologue for Fire Lord Sozin's attack on the Airbenders, then in the post-credit scene with Fire Lord Ozai and the Great Sage discussing the comet coming back.
When?
Soon. We shall see the return
Of Sozin's Comet.
And notice during those scenes, they don't specifically list a date on when the comet is coming back, only a vague reference that it is coming soon at some point. So the showrunner implied that they'd be writing some time jumps between Season 1, Season 2, and Season 2 and Season 3 to explain why the child actors, especially Gordon Cormier, who plays Aang, looks so much bigger. Like, wow, what have you been eating, Aang? Like, you just grew so much. Overall, Season 1 was head and shoulders better than the M. Night Shyamalan Avatar: The Last Airbender movie. I feel like this was the only assignment that it had. Like, there was no way that it was going to be as good as the original animated series. That's perfect, essentially. You cannot beat something that is already perfect. But beating that original live-action Avatar movie was a pretty low bar to clear, so it wasn't that hard for them to do that. They had a lot of swings and misses. I do have complaints about some of the bigger aspects of the Netflix series, but there were a couple things they did really well on the whole. Like, the bending itself is probably the biggest win that they had. The bending all looks great. One of the other big improvements that they need to make is fix the chemistry between Aang and Katara. They're supposed to end the series as one of the great love affairs in the Avatar universe, and Season 1 Katara and Season 1 Aang have zero chemistry together. The closest thing to any kind of relationship development during Season 1 in the Avatar universe here was between Suki and Sokka. That'll also probably be one of the bigger changes for Season 2. Expect them to bring the Suki actress back and make her a bigger part in the plot than she was in the original book, too. Now, Suki does become part of the plot later on in the original animated series. She does come back eventually, but just expect her to be more prominent in the live-action version. But really, we're talking about Toph here. Like, Toph is the biggest new character they're introducing because she's a core member of Team Aang, like one of the greatest Earthbenders in the history of the Avatar universe. So just like Season 1, expect them to condense a lot of the plot points, skip a lot of the side quests. So either they'll make a beeline for Ba Sing Se, or they'll meet Toph, or Aang will have a vision of her at some point during Episode 1, but we will see her at some point during Episode 1, and they will make their way to Ba Sing Se pretty quickly. So I think they'll probably do a pretty close adaptation of the way they met Toph in the original Book 2 series. At a bending competition with her beating the crap out of Boulder, I would love if he were played by The Rock. The fandom has been asking for The Rock to play Boulder for so long, but there's no way Netflix is going to pay the money it would take to get The Rock to do that. We'll probably get that first Toph versus Aang fight scene. She'll join them, and over the course of the season, she'll teach Aang how to earthbend, and she'll invent metal bending. Toph is canonically supposed to be the first metal bender in the history of the Avatar universe. And for those of you asking, like, one of the big complaints of Season 1 is that Aang never actually learns to waterbend. Like, what's happening here? Wasn't he supposed to learn how to waterbend? Isn't that the whole point of this? What they'll probably do is they'll have Katara teach him how to waterbend at the beginning of Season 2. Like, first couple of episodes, he'll learn how to waterbend. As for Zuko, Iroh, and Azula, their Book 2 plot is actually pretty easy to adapt. Like, it's way less expensive than what's happening with Team Aang for the most part. Fire Lord Ozai sets Azula to the task of capturing Zuko and Iroh, branding them as traitors, trying to bring them back to the Fire Nation, and they take off to hide in Ba Sing Se, pretending to be normal citizens of the Earth Kingdom, opening Iroh's tea shop, which is a lifelong dream of his. Like, he has so much fun during that part of the plot. Just chilling out and making good tea every day, like that's all he cares about. And Zuko begins the next phase of his redemption arc, or really, he begins his redemption. He was mostly an antagonist to Aang during Season 1, and he almost falters during Book 2 as well, or in the original version. Like, Zuko betrays Uncle Iroh in a pretty big way. But essentially, during Book 2, he starts to turn the corner on his redemption. It's not really till Book 3 that he actually joins Team Avatar and becomes a fundamentally good character. They'll probably end Season 2 the same way they ended the original Book 2, with Azula lightning-bending Aang, almost killing him, basically putting him into a coma. That's actually a pretty easy way to explain a time jump before Season 3, because Gordon Cormier, like the actor, will actually just be physically so much bigger. You look so much older because you've been in a coma for a long time. Hoping that they do adapt a version of the beach in some way in one of the episodes. It'd be weird for them to do Cabbage Man, Cave of Two Lovers, and then not do the beach. And really hoping here, like fingers crossed, that they bring back the original voice cast to be the Ember Island players. They do reunions all the time at conventions. Like, you can actually go get signatures with them, hear them talk about doing the original series all the time, like literally several times a year. Dante Basco is even doing a rewatch podcast for the original Avatar series with Janet Varney, who was the voice for Korra. What I'm really hoping, too, is that he comes back as the voice of Zuko in these movies that Mike and Bryan are doing. We probably won't see any footage from those till like either the very end of this year or like early next year at some point, so I'm not expecting any big trailers for the animated Avatar stuff for a while. But everyone, post all your thoughts on Avatar The Last Airbender Netflix Season 2. If you had any complaints about Season 1, stuff you hope they fix, or stuff you hope that they adapt from the original Book 2. If you did not like the way they paced out Season 1 or the way they changed some of the story, the actual showrunner from Season 1 left the show to work on some other Netflix project, so other people will be in charge of Season 2 and Season 3. Some of the biggest changes they made were just to bring people into the same area much faster and for much longer than they were in the actual animated series. Like, we only have money for like a couple really big sets for a couple of cities here, so we need everybody to meet in this particular big set and stay here for a lot longer. One of the lowest lows from Season 1 was also King Boomy, so I hope they don't get quite as nuts as King Boomy was during Season 1. Probably the best example of that they have to deal with during Book 2 will actually be when they meet the Earth King. Like, a lot of that storyline just gets really silly, so we'll see how they deal with that. I don't know if they're actually going to do Bosco the bear. Maybe they'll try to do the bear. There's actually a very dark ending for that character. Like, people wonder what happened to the Earth King's bear. Did it survive? Supposedly, it wound up getting eaten. And one of the other real big changes that everybody should expect during Season 2 is they do the same thing they did during Season 1, bringing everyone together in the Earth Kingdom much, much faster. Over on the animated new Avatar stuff Mike and Bryan are working on, we'll probably see some teasers or some concept art for the movie that they're working on with adult Team Aang in the next year or two, depending on how their plans change for the future of the Avatar universe in animation. They're working on that new TV series with the Earthbender avatar after Korra forward in the timeline, so that won't come out till after the movie. I'm not expecting to see anything from that till after we actually get the movie trailers and see the movie. There's a bunch of big stuff coming up. There were a ton of trailers this week and a bunch of other big news, so I'll try to do videos for everything. Be sure to enable alerts for my channel so you don't miss any of that stuff. Everybody click here to learn about the Avatar The Last Airbender animated series and movies that they're working on with Mike and Bryan, and click here for all my other Avatar The Last Airbender videos. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.